Billionaire CEO X told his family his ex-wife was infertile until she crashed his brother's wedding with triplets and a secret that shocked the guests. "Mommy, is our daddy here too?" The woman squeezed his hand gently. Her voice was calm, steady. "Shh, baby, not now." But across the ballroom, a man in a Tom Ford tuxedo had gone completely still. His fiancée's manicured nails dug into his arm hard enough to bruise. "Dexter." Her voice shook. "Dexter, who is that?" He couldn't answer. His throat had closed. His heart had stopped. The fiancée's voice rose, sharp and desperate. "You told me she was infertile. You said she couldn't have children. You said that's why you divorced her." 300 pairs of eyes swiveled from the woman at the entrance to the billionaire CEO frozen near the bar. The silence was suffocating. An older woman in an emerald gown pushed through the crowd. Her heels clicked against the marble floor. Each step echoed. She reached the 3 children and stopped. Her hand trembled as she knelt down. The expensive fabric of her dress pooled on the floor. She stared at 3 small faces, dark eyes, strong jawlines, dimpled smiles. "How old are you?" The older woman's voice cracked. The children answered in perfect unison. 5. The older woman's face crumpled. "When is your birthday?" "February 10th. The little girl offered this information cheerfully, like she was talking about the weather. The older woman did the math in her head. February, 9 months after the divorce was finalized. She looked up at the woman in the navy dress. Her eyes were swimming with tears. "Are they his?" The woman in navy met her gaze without flinching. "Yes." A collective gasp rippled through the ballroom. Phones appeared. Fingers started typing. This was going to be everywhere by morning. Billionaire, Dexter Ashcroft. Secret children. A lie exposed in front of everyone who mattered. The older woman looked at the billionaire across the room. Her son. Her firstborn. The boy she raised to be honest and honorable. Dexter. Her voice cut through 300 people like she was the only person in the world who mattered. "Come here. Right now." He didn't move. Couldn't move. His legs had turned to stone. His fiancée jerked away from him. She ripped the 5-carat engagement ring off her finger. "You lied to me. For 2 years. You lied." She threw the ring at his chest. It bounced off his custom tuxedo and clattered to the floor. The small diamond skittered across marble. 300 people watched it roll. The fiancée grabbed her purse and ran toward the exit. Her champagne gown flowed behind her like water. The ballroom doors slammed. The sound echoed. Dexter finally moved. 1 foot in front of the other, the longest walk of his life. Every eye burning into him. Every person he'd ever impressed, ever done business with, ever lied to. All of them watching. He reached his mother. She stood up slowly. Her face was streaked with mascara. "Did you know?" Her voice was deadly quiet. "When you divorced her, did you know she was pregnant?" The lie was right there. Easy. Familiar. He'd told it 1,000 times. But something broke inside him. Yes, the word came out broken. "I knew." The slap echoed through the silent ballroom. His mother had never hit him. Not once in 36 years. His head snapped to the side. His cheek burned. "How could you?" Her voice shattered. "How could you abandon your own children? Have you ever told a lie so big it destroyed everything? Have you ever made a choice you couldn't take back? Have you ever watched your entire life collapse in front of 300 witnesses? This is Dexter Ashcroft's story. This is what happens when you choose money over family, when you build an empire on lies, when you think you can outrun the truth. But the truth always catches up. And when it does, it doesn't come quietly. If you've ever made a mistake you wish you could undo, you need to hear this story. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to witness will change how you think about choices, consequences, and second chances. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever lost everything because of one decision? Now let me take you back. 5 years before that ballroom. 5 years before the lies came crashing down. Let me show you exactly how a billionaire CEO destroyed his own family. 5 years earlier. Manhattan. February. Dexter Ashcroft stood in his corner office on the 47th floor of the Ashcroft Industries building. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the Manhattan skyline. The city glittered beneath him like a kingdom he'd conquered. He was 31 years old. chief executive officer of a tech conglomerate worth $4.2 billion. His grandfather had built the company from nothing. His father had grown it. Dexter was taking it into the stratosphere. The desk behind him was buried in documents, acquisition proposals, expansion plans, stock reports. His phone buzzed constantly. Tokyo, London, Dubai, Singapore. The empire never slept. Dexter wore a suit that cost $3,000. His watch cost more than most people made in a year. Everything about him screamed success, power, control. But if you looked closely, really closely, you'd see the shadows under his eyes. The coffee cup that was his fourth of the day. The way his jaw clenched when his phone rang for the 15th time that hour. His assistant knocked on the glass door. "Mr. Ashcroft, your mother is on line 3. Dexter picked up the phone. "Hi, Mom." Georgina Ashcroft's voice was warm and sharp at the same time. "Darling, are you still planning to come to dinner Sunday?" "Yes, I'll be there." "And you're bringing Ramona?" Dexter glanced at his watch. "If I can get her to pull herself away from her project." "That housing development in Brooklyn?" "Community housing. Green spaces. Ramona's very passionate about it." "That's because your wife actually cares about people," Georgina said. "Not just profit margins." Dexter smiled despite himself. "I care about people. You care about spreadsheets. There's a difference." His mother paused. "How is your marriage, sweetheart?" "Really?" "It's fine. We're fine. Fine is what you say about mediocre coffee. I'm asking about your marriage. Mom, I have a meeting in 5 minutes." "You always have a meeting. That's the problem." Georgina sighed. "Your father and I didn't raise you to work yourself to death. We raised you to build a life, not just a company. I'm building both. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you're building an empire and neglecting a wife. That's not fair, isn't it?" "When was the last time you took Ramona somewhere that wasn't a business dinner?" Dexter opened his mouth, closed it. He couldn't remember. "That's what I thought." Georgina's voice softened. "Darling, I love you, but you're becoming your grandfather. And your grandfather died alone in this very office at 62. Heart attack. Surrounded by paperwork and nobody who loved him." The words hit harder than Dexter wanted to admit. "I'll see you Sunday," he said quietly. "Bring flowers for your wife. Surprise her." "Okay." He hung up, stared out at the city. His phone buzzed again. Another email. Another crisis. Another opportunity. Dexter picked up the phone. That night, Dexter came home to his penthouse in Tribeca at 9 o'clock. The apartment was dark except for one light in the corner. Ramona sat at the dining table. Architectural plans spread across the surface. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun. She wore an old Columbia sweatshirt and jeans. No makeup. She was the most beautiful thing in the apartment. She looked up when he walked in. Hey. Dexter set down his briefcase. "You eaten?" "I had a sandwich earlier. There's leftover Chinese in the fridge if you want." Dexter walked to the kitchen, opened containers, ate cold lo mein standing at the counter. Ramona went back to her blueprints. This was their marriage now. 2 people in the same space, barely intersecting. "How's the Brooklyn project?" Dexter asked. "Good. Great, actually." Ramona's face lit up the way it always did when she talked about her work. "We got approval for the green roof design. And the community garden. It's going to be exactly what that neighborhood needs." "That's great. 40 units of affordable housing. Actual affordable, not the fake affordable that prices out everyone who actually needs it." Ramona looked at him. "This is going to matter, Dex. This is going to change people's lives." "I know." Dexter smiled. "I'm proud of you." Ramona's expression softened. "Thanks. How was your day?" "Long. We're negotiating the Singapore expansion." Ramona nodded. She'd heard about the Singapore expansion for 3 months. That's all Dexter talked about. Expansions, acquisitions, markets, growth. She went back to her blueprints. Dexter finished his cold lo mein, threw away the container, checked his phone. 17 new emails. "I'm going to work for a bit," he said. Ramona didn't look up. "Okay." He went to his office, the spare bedroom he'd converted into a workspace, opened his laptop, got lost in spreadsheets and projections and 5-year plans. 3 hours later, he came to bed. Ramona was already asleep. curled on her side, breathing softly. Dexter slid in beside her, stared at the ceiling, thought about his mother's words. "You're becoming your grandfather." He pushed the thought away. This went on for 2 years. Dexter building his empire, Ramona building her projects. 2 parallel lives that occasionally touched but never quite connected. Until one February night when everything changed. Dexter came home at 7:30. Early for him. He'd had meetings canceled. A rare gift of time. The apartment smelled different. He couldn't place it. Something cooking. He walked into the kitchen. Ramona stood at the stove. She was making pasta. Actual cooking. Ramona hated cooking. She was terrible at it. But there she was, stirring sauce from a jar, boiling pasta, looking nervous. "Hey." Dexter set down his briefcase. "You're cooking. Don't sound so shocked." Ramona tried to smile, but it came out wrong. Shaky. "What's the occasion?" She turned off the burner. "Can we eat?" "And talk?" "Sure." They sat at the table. The pasta was overcooked. The sauce was lukewarm. The salad was wilted. Dexter didn't say anything. He ate. Ramona pushed food around her plate. She wasn't eating, just moving lettuce from one side to the other. Dexter noticed. "You okay? I need to tell you something." "Okay." Ramona set down her fork. Her hands were shaking. She folded them in her lap, looked at him directly. "I'm pregnant." 3 words. The world tilted. Dexter's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. He set it down slowly. "What?" "I'm pregnant." Ramona's voice was quiet but steady. 8 weeks. 8 weeks. I wanted to be sure before I told you. I took 3 tests. Went to the doctor. It's real. We're having a baby. Dexter's mind raced. 8 weeks. 2 months. He calculated backwards. The weekend they'd gone to the Hamptons. The rare weekend away from work. The night they'd actually connected. One night. One moment of intimacy. And now, "Are you sure?" The question came out automatic. Ramona's face fell. "Yes, I'm sure." Dexter stood up from the table. He walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows, looked out at Manhattan, his kingdom, his empire, the city he was conquering. A baby didn't fit into the plan. A baby meant diapers and sleepless nights and responsibility. A baby meant sacrifice, compromise, putting someone else first. Dexter had plans. The Singapore expansion was just the beginning. He wanted to acquire 3 competitors in the next 2 years. He wanted to double the stock price. He wanted to build something his grandfather would be proud of. Something that would last centuries. A baby would derail everything. "We're not ready," Dexter said. His back was still to her. He couldn't look at her face. "We'll figure it out." Ramona's voice was hopeful, nervous. "People do this all the time." "I'm not ready." "Dexter, I don't want this." The silence that followed was devastating. "What are you saying?" Ramona's voice was small. "I'm saying I don't want a baby. Not now. Maybe not ever. But I'm already pregnant. Then we'll deal with it." "Deal with it." Ramona stood up. Her chair scraped against the floor. "This is a baby. Our baby. It's a collection of cells." Dexter turned around. His face was cold, clinical. "It's not a baby yet." "How can you say that?" "Because it's true." Ramona's eyes filled with tears. "I can't believe you're saying this." Dexter felt something crack inside him. Some wall he'd built to protect himself. But he couldn't let it break. If he let it break, he'd have to feel things. And feeling things meant dealing with things. And he didn't want to deal with this. "I think we should get a divorce." The words hung in the air like poison. Ramona's hand went to her stomach. "Protective. Instinctive. Because I'm pregnant? Because we want different things. We never talked about this. You never said you didn't want children. I never said I did." That was true. In 2 years of marriage, they'd never discussed children. Ramona had been focused on her career. Dexter assumed she didn't want kids either. He'd assumed wrong. "So, you're just going to leave?" Ramona's voice rose. "I tell you, I'm pregnant, and you walk away? I'll make sure you're taken care of financially. I don't want your money. I want my husband." Dexter looked at her, really looked at her. tears streaming down her face, hand on her stomach. The woman he'd married, because she was real in a world of artificial people. And he felt nothing. No, that wasn't true. He felt trapped, suffocated, desperate to escape. "I'm sorry," he said, but his voice was empty. "I can't do this." Ramona stared at him. "You won't do this. There's a difference." She walked to the bedroom, slammed the door. Dexter stood in the kitchen, the pasta getting cold on the table, the city glittering outside the window. He'd made his choice. 1 week later, Dexter filed for divorce. His lawyers were the best money could buy. They worked fast. New York required a waiting period, but they found ways to expedite things. Irreconcilable differences, no-fault divorce, clean separation. Dexter moved out of the penthouse, got a new place in Midtown, bigger, more expensive, higher floor. He threw himself into work, the Singapore expansion, a new acquisition in Tokyo, meetings that lasted until midnight, trips to 3 continents in 1 week. He didn't think about Ramona, tried not to. When thoughts crept in, he pushed them away, focused on what he could control, the company, the deals, the empire. Ramona tried to contact him. Her name appeared on his phone 17 times the first week. He let it go to voicemail, listened to the messages once, then deleted them. "Dexter, please. We need to talk. This is important. I need to tell you something about the baby." Delete. "Dexter, I went to the doctor. There's something you need to know. Please call me back." Delete. "Dexter, I'm begging you. Just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." Delete. After a month, he blocked her number. She came to his office, made it past security because they still had her on the approved list. Dexter's assistant buzzed him. "Mr. Ashcroft, your wife is here." "Ex-wife," Dexter corrected. "Almost ex-wife. Tell her I'm in a meeting. She says it's urgent. I'm in a meeting." The assistant's voice dropped. "Sir, she's crying." Dexter closed his eyes. "I'm in a meeting." 20 minutes later, his assistant buzzed again. "She's gone, sir." "Good." Dexter looked out his office window. 47 floors below, he could see a figure in a dark coat walking away, shoulders hunched, moving slowly. He turned away from the window. She sent a registered letter, the kind that required a signature. Dexter's assistant signed for it, brought it to his desk. The envelope sat there for 2 days, unopened. Finally, Dexter picked it up, looked at Ramona's handwriting on the front, his name in her careful script. He put the letter in a new envelope, wrote, "Return to sender," sent it back unopened. He never knew what it said. Fletcher called him on a Tuesday. Dexter's younger brother, the good son, the pediatric surgeon who saved children's lives while Dexter made money. "We need to talk." Fletcher's voice was tight. "I'm busy. I don't care. I'm coming to your office. Be there." Fletcher hung up before Dexter could argue. 30 minutes later, Fletcher walked into the corner office. He didn't sit down, just stood there in his scrubs. He'd come straight from the hospital. "What the hell is wrong with you?" Fletcher's voice was cold. "Excuse me? Ramona called me. She was crying. Do you know what she told me? I don't want to hear this. She's pregnant." Fletcher stepped closer. "She's pregnant, and you won't talk to her. You blocked her number. You returned her letter. That's between me and her. She's your wife, ex-wife. She's carrying your child, alleged child." Fletcher stared at his brother like he didn't recognize him. "What happened to you?" "I grew up." Dexter turned back to his computer. "I prioritized what matters. And a baby doesn't matter? The company matters. Building something that lasts matters. I'm not cut out to be a father. So, you just abandon her?" "I'm making sure she's financially taken care of. She doesn't want your money, Dexter. She wants you to be a man. She wants you to take responsibility. I am taking responsibility. By being honest, I don't want this. Staying would be worse." Fletcher's jaw clenched. "Do you know what she told me today?" "I don't care. She's carrying triplets." The word hit Dexter like a bullet. He turned around slowly. Fletcher's face was hard. 3 babies. She found out last week. She went to the ultrasound alone because her husband abandoned her. And the doctor told her she's carrying 3 babies. Dexter sat down. His legs had gone weak. 3 babies, Fletcher repeated. She's 2 months pregnant, alone, terrified, and the father of her children won't even take her phone calls. That's not my problem. How is it not your problem? Fletcher's voice rose. They're your children. I didn't ask for this. Nobody asks for this. It happened. You deal with it. That's what adults do. I am dealing with it. By being honest about what I want. What you want. Fletcher laughed. It was a bitter sound. What about what those babies need? What Ramona needs? She'll be fine. Her family will help her. You're unbelievable. Fletcher turned toward the door. I came here thinking maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maybe you didn't know. But you know. You just don't care. Fletcher, don't. Fletcher held up his hand. I don't want to hear it. Just know that I'm ashamed to call you my brother right now. He left. The office door closed quietly. Somehow that was worse than if he'd slammed it. Dexter sat in his leather chair. 47th floor. Corner office. King of his empire. Triplets. 3 babies. He pushed the thought away. Opened his laptop. Responded to emails. Focused on the Tokyo acquisition. He had work to do. An empire to build. That's what mattered. That's all that mattered. The divorce was finalized in June. 4 months after Dexter filed. Ramona was 5 months pregnant by then. Dexter knew because his lawyers kept him informed, even though he told them he didn't care. The settlement was generous by most standards. The Tribeca penthouse, some stock options, enough money to live comfortably if she was careful. Dexter kept everything else. The company, the new penthouse, his freedom, his life exactly as he wanted it. Ramona signed the papers without a fight. Didn't ask for more money. Didn't demand child support. Didn't even contest anything. Dexter's lawyers were surprised. She's making this very easy. Good, Dexter said. Let's finish it. The papers were signed. The marriage dissolved. Dexter was free. He celebrated by closing the Tokyo deal. $200 million. His biggest acquisition yet. Forbes called him one of the most successful young CEOs in America. They wanted to do a profile. Dexter said yes. The interviewer asked about his personal life. I was married briefly. Dexter's answer was smooth. He'd practiced it. It didn't work out. We wanted different things. Do you want to get married again? Someday. When I find the right person. Someone who understands my life. My work. Do you want children? Absolutely. I'd love to be a father someday. The lie came out easy. Natural. The article ran with a photo of Dexter in his corner office. Young. Successful. Eligible. The caption called him Manhattan's most wanted bachelor. His mother called after the article came out. Georgina's voice was careful. Darling, I read the Forbes piece. Yeah. It said, you want children. I do. Someday. Then, why did you divorce Ramona? The question hung in the air. This was the moment. Dexter could tell the truth. Tell his mother what really happened. That Ramona got pregnant. That he panicked. That he chose his company over his family. But the truth made him a monster. And Dexter couldn't be a monster. Not to his mother. Not to himself. So he lied. Mom. Dexter's voice dropped. Made it sound painful. Ramona couldn't have children. What? She has a medical condition. Something with her ovaries. I don't remember all the technical terms. But the doctors said she couldn't get pregnant. Georgina was quiet for a long moment. Oh, darling. I'm so sorry. We tried to make it work. But I want to be a father someday. And staying married to her, knowing it would never happen. It was too painful. Of course. Georgina's voice was thick with sympathy. Of course it was. Oh, sweetheart. You must have been heartbroken. I was. Dexter let emotion creep into his voice. It wasn't hard. He was heartbroken. Just not for the reasons his mother thought. But every time I saw a father with his kid, it hurt. I realized I couldn't live that way. You did the right thing. It must have been so hard. It was. You'll find someone else. Someone who can give you the family you want. I hope so. I know so. You're a good man, Dexter. Any woman would be lucky to have you. The words stabbed him. Good man. He wanted to laugh. Or scream. Or tell the truth. Instead, he said, Thanks, Mom. I love you. I love you too, darling. He hung up, sat in his penthouse, looked out at the city. The lie was born. And once he told it to his mother, it became easier to tell everyone else. Friends asked about the divorce. Dexter told them the same story. She couldn't have children. Medical condition, too painful to stay. Business associates. She was infertile. I wanted to be a father. Had to move on. Colleagues. Couldn't have kids. Broke my heart. But I had to think about my future. Everyone believed him. Everyone felt sorry for him. Poor Dexter. Married to an infertile woman. Sacrificing his dream of fatherhood. So brave. So strong. So mature. The sympathy felt good. Better than judgment. Better than condemnation. Better than the truth. The lie became his armor. His shield. His story. He told it so many times it started to feel true. Ramona couldn't have children. That's why he left. That's the only reason. Nothing to do with his choices. Nothing to do with cowardice. Medical condition. Not his fault. The months passed. Summer turned to fall. Fall turned to winter. Dexter didn't think about Ramona. Didn't think about the divorce. Didn't think about what she'd said. Triplets. He focused on work. The Singapore expansion launched successfully. Stock prices rose. He made his first billion. Forbes put him on the cover. 32 years old. Billionaire. Success story. In February, almost exactly a year after Ramona told him she was pregnant, Dexter's assistant brought him coffee and a stack of newspapers. He flipped through them absently. Business section. Tech news. Market reports. Then he saw it. A small announcement in the Times. Births. Rivera. Ramona Rivera of Brooklyn announces the birth of triplets. Cora, Bennett, and Beckett. Born February 10th. Mother and children healthy. Dexter stared at the announcement. The words blurred. Triplets. Born February 10th. 9 months after he filed for divorce. They were real. The babies were real. His assistant knocked on the glass. Mr. Ashcroft? Your 10 o'clock is here. Dexter folded the newspaper. Put it in the trash. Stood up. Straightened his tie. Send them in. The meeting was about a new acquisition. Dexter focused on the numbers, the projections, the 5-year plan. He didn't think about 3 babies in Brooklyn. Didn't think about their names. Cora, Bennett, Beckett. He had work to do. An empire to build. That's all that mattered. 5 years passed. Dexter built his empire. Ashcroft Industries tripled in value. The stock price soared. He made the Forbes 400. Then the Forbes 100. Then the Forbes 50. Billionaire. Success story. American dream. He bought a bigger penthouse. A house in the Hamptons. A yacht. Everything he'd ever wanted. He dated. Models. Actresses. Heiresses. Women who looked good on his arm at galas and charity events. Women who understood that his company came first. Nothing serious. Nothing permanent. Until Paige Thornton. Former model. Lifestyle influencer. 2.3 million Instagram followers. Beautiful. Ambitious. Perfect for his image. They met at a charity gala. She was there promoting her brand. He was there because his publicist said he should be seen supporting the arts. She approached him. You're Dexter Ashcroft. Guilty. I follow your company. Very impressive what you've done. Thank you. I follow your Instagram. Very impressive what you've done. She laughed. It's not the same thing, isn't it? You built a brand from nothing. That takes vision, strategy, discipline. She liked that. Liked being taken seriously. They talked for an hour. She gave him her number. They dated for 6 months before it became official. Another year before he proposed. The proposal made headlines. 5-carat diamond, private jet to Paris, dinner at Le Jules Verne, the whole fairy tale. Paige posted photos. Her followers went crazy. The engagement ring got its own Instagram account. Dexter's publicist loved it. Great for your image. Makes you seem stable, ready to settle down. On their 4th date, Paige asked about his first marriage. They were at a restaurant in Soho. Overpriced small plates. Wine that cost more than most people's rent. Your publicist mentioned you were married before. Paige's voice was casual. What happened? This was the test, the moment where Dexter could tell the truth. Tell this woman he was supposedly building a life with what really happened. But the lie was easier, familiar, safe. She couldn't have children. Dexter's voice was perfect. Just the right amount of sadness. Medical condition. Something with her ovaries. Paige's face softened. Oh my God. That's terrible. We tried to make it work, but I've always wanted to be a father. Seeing other families, knowing I'd never have that with her. It became too painful. I can't imagine. Paige reached across the table, took his hand. That must have been so hard for you. It was, but I'm past it now, ready to move forward with someone who can give you children. Exactly. Paige smiled. I want kids, at least 2, maybe 3, all before I'm 35 so my body can bounce back. Dexter smiled back. Sounds perfect. Another lie. But what was one more? They set a wedding date. Spring of the following year. Paige started planning immediately. She created a Pinterest board, hired a wedding planner, picked a venue. Dexter let her handle it. He was busy with work, always busy with work. His younger brother Fletcher got engaged around the same time to Sutton Carmichael, a lawyer, Harvard educated, sharp and kind in equal measure. Fletcher and Sutton's wedding was first. They'd been together longer. They were more sure. The invitation arrived in heavy cardstock. Mr. and Mrs. Warren Ashcroft request the pleasure of your company at the marriage of their son Fletcher to Sutton Carmichael. St. Regis Hotel, Manhattan, Saturday, June 15th. Dexter RSVP'd for 2. Him and Paige. He didn't think much about it. A wedding. His brother's wedding. Family obligation. Social event. Good opportunity to network. He had no idea his entire life was about to explode. Saturday, June 15th arrived bright and clear. Perfect wedding weather. Dexter and Paige got ready at his penthouse. She spent 3 hours on hair and makeup. Changed dresses twice. Took 50 selfies. They arrived at the St. Regis at 4:30. The ceremony started at 5. The hotel was magnificent. Gold doors, marble floors, crystal chandeliers, old money and new money colliding in perfect harmony. The ceremony room was filled with white roses, 300 guests in designer clothes, a string quartet playing something classical. Dexter's parents sat in the front row, his mother in an emerald gown and pearls, his father in a perfectly tailored suit. Georgina turned when Dexter walked in. Her face lit up. She waved him over. Darling. She kissed his cheek. You look handsome. Thanks, Mom. You look beautiful. Georgina turned to Paige. And you must be Paige. I've seen so many photos. It's lovely to finally meet you in person. You too, Mrs. Ashcroft. Paige smiled her influencer smile. Your son talks about you all the time. All good things, I hope. Mostly. Dexter grinned. They sat 3 rows back. The ceremony began right on time. Fletcher stood at the altar in his tuxedo. When Sutton walked down the aisle in her white gown, Fletcher started crying. The officiant talked about love and commitment and partnership. Fletcher and Sutton said their vows, promised to choose each other every day, in sickness and health, for richer or poorer. Dexter watched his brother, saw the way Fletcher looked at Sutton, like she was the only person in the world. Dexter had never looked at anyone that way, not even Ramona, especially not Ramona. The ceremony ended. Everyone applauded. The new couple kissed, walked back down the aisle together. The guests moved to the ballroom for the reception. Dexter walked in and stopped. The room was spectacular. Crystal chandeliers everywhere, white flowers covering every surface, a dance floor that reflected light like water, round tables with gold chairs and white tablecloths. This is gorgeous. Paige grabbed her phone, started filming for Instagram. I want our wedding to look exactly like this. Ours will be better, Dexter said automatically. They found their assigned table, sat down with people Dexter barely knew. Fletcher's friends from medical school, Sutton's colleagues from her law firm. Waiters brought champagne in crystal glasses. The DJ started playing background music. People talked and laughed. Dexter's mother moved through the crowd, stopping at tables, hugging people. Georgina was in her element. Both her sons successful. Fletcher newly married. Dexter engaged. Her family thriving. She stopped near Dexter's table, started talking to a couple he didn't recognize. Her voice carried. "I'm so blessed. Both my sons doing so well. Fletcher saving children's lives. Dexter building an empire." The couple nodded politely. Georgina continued. "Dexter's getting married next spring to this lovely girl. After everything he went through with his first marriage, he deserves happiness." "What happened with his first marriage?" the woman asked. Dexter's shoulders tensed. His wife couldn't have children. Georgina's voice dropped, but not enough. Medical condition. It broke his heart. He wanted to be a father so badly. Eventually, he had to leave. It was too painful. The couple made sympathetic sounds. "How awful. Poor man. But he's doing better now." Georgina smiled. "New fiancé. Planning a family. Maybe I'll get grandchildren after all." Dexter stood up abruptly, walked to the bar, ordered whiskey, neat. The bartender poured. Dexter drank half of it in one swallow. His father appeared beside him. Warren Ashcroft, 64 years old, retired federal judge, man of principle and honor. "Your brother looks happy." Warren's voice was warm. "He does. Sutton's good for him." "Yeah." Warren ordered bourbon. They stood in silence for a moment. "How's work?" Warren asked. "Busy. The usual. The Singapore expansion going well?" "Very well. Ahead of projections." "That's good." Warren took a sip of bourbon. "You know, your grandfather would be proud of what you've built." "Thanks, Dad. But he wouldn't be proud of how you're living." Dexter turned to look at his father. "What?" "You work too much. You don't make time for the people who matter. You're becoming him. And that's not a compliment. I'm fine." "Are you?" Warren met his son's eyes. "Because from where I'm standing, you're building an empire and forgetting to build a life." "I have a life. I'm engaged to a woman who spends more time on Instagram than talking to you. That's not fair, isn't it?" Warren set down his glass. "I'm not judging you, son. I'm worried about you. Don't be. I'm happy." Warren didn't respond, just looked at his oldest son with eyes that had judged thousands of cases, eyes that saw through lies. Then he walked away. Dexter finished his whiskey, ordered another. Dinner was served at 6. Chicken and vegetables and potatoes arranged like art. Dexter ate without tasting, drank his whiskey. Paige drank wine, took photos of her plate, posted them with hashtags, wedding season, fancy food, living my best life. After dinner, the speeches began. Warren went first, talked about watching Fletcher grow up, becoming a doctor, finding Sutton, building a life of meaning. Then it was Dexter's turn. Best man speech. He stood up, tapped his glass. The room went quiet. Dexter had prepared remarks, 3 minutes about brotherhood and love and partnership. He delivered them perfectly, made jokes, got laughs, talked about how Fletcher had always been the good son, the one who saved lives instead of making money, how Sutton was perfect for him, how they'd build a beautiful life together. Everyone applauded. Fletcher hugged him. Sutton kissed his cheek. Dexter sat down feeling hollow. Every word true, every word meaningless. The DJ turned up the music. Fletcher and Sutton had their first dance. Everyone watched. Then other couples joined them. Paige pulled Dexter onto the dance floor. They swayed to some pop song he didn't recognize. "I love weddings." Paige's words were slightly slurred. She'd had 3 glasses of wine. "They're so romantic. I can't wait for ours." Dexter said nothing, just moved mechanically. "And then we can start a family." Paige looked up at him. "I want 2 kids, maybe 3, all before I'm 35. "Sure, you want kids, right? After what happened with your ex-wife, I know it's important to you." "Right." Paige smiled. "We're going to have the perfect life." The song ended. Dexter excused himself, walked back to the bar. The ballroom was full now. 300 people celebrating, dancing, drinking, laughing. Dexter stood at the bar with his 3rd whiskey, watching but not participating, present but not there. His phone buzzed. Work email. Crisis in Tokyo. He should probably handle it. He was reading the email when the ballroom doors opened. Dexter glanced up automatically, expecting another late guest, another business associate, another nobody. But it wasn't nobody. The woman who walked through those doors made time stop. She wore a simple navy dress. Nothing expensive, nothing designer. But she carried herself like royalty. Dark hair pulled back. No jewelry. Minimal makeup. Beautiful in a way that didn't need enhancement. Ramona, his ex-wife. The woman he hadn't seen in 5 years. The woman he'd blocked and ignored and erased from his life. She was here, at his brother's wedding. And she wasn't alone. 3 children walked beside her. 2 boys in small navy suits. 1 girl in a navy dress with white trim. They held hands with each other and their mother. A chain of 4 people. The children looked around the ballroom with wide eyes, taking in the chandeliers, the flowers, the people in fancy clothes. They were about 5 years old. Dark hair, dark eyes, strong features. Features Dexter recognized, because they were his features. His eyes, his jaw, his smile. The ballroom started going quiet. Conversations stopping, heads turning. 300 people slowly realizing something was happening. One of the boys looked around. His eyes were wide and curious. He looked at all the decorations, all the people. Then he asked in a clear voice that carried across the increasingly silent ballroom, "Mommy, is our daddy here too?" And that's when Dexter Ashcroft's carefully constructed life began to crumble. Paige's hand clamped onto Dexter's arm. Her manicured nails dug through the fabric of his tuxedo, hard enough to bruise. She was staring at Ramona and the 3 children. Her face had gone pale beneath her carefully applied makeup. "Dexter." Her voice shook. "Who was that?" Dexter couldn't speak. His throat had closed completely. His heart hammered against his ribs. The whiskey glass in his hand trembled. Paige's grip tightened. "Dexter, answer me. Who is that woman?" Across the ballroom, Sutton broke away from Fletcher. She walked quickly toward Ramona. Her wedding dress rustled with each step. The entire room watched Sutton cross the dance floor, watched her reach Ramona, watched her pull Ramona into a tight hug. "I'm so glad you came." Sutton's voice carried in the unnatural silence. "I wasn't sure you would." Ramona hugged her back. Her voice was quiet but steady. "I almost didn't. But you invited us, and the kids wanted to see a real wedding. I'm so glad." Sutton pulled back, looked down at the 3 children. "And look how big you've gotten. I haven't seen you in 2 months." The little girl smiled up at Sutton. "Your dress is so pretty." "Thank you, sweetheart." People near the entrance were whispering now, putting pieces together. Sutton knew this woman. Sutton invited her. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a crasher. This was deliberate. Georgina had been talking to relatives near the gift table. She heard the boy's question, heard the shift in energy, turned around. She saw Ramona, saw the 3 children. Her face went completely still, like someone had pressed pause on her expression. Then she started walking, across the dance floor, her heels clicking on the polished wood, each step echoing in the growing silence. 300 people watched her approach the woman and 3 children. Georgina stopped directly in front of them. She stared at the children, really stared. The little girl had dimples in both cheeks. One of the boys had thick eyebrows and serious eyes. The other boy had a wide smile that showed all his teeth. Georgina's hand started to shake. She pressed it against her chest. Sutton stepped aside, giving Georgina space. "How old are you?" Georgina's voice trembled. The 3 children answered together, clearly used to this question. 5. Georgina's eyes filled with tears. "When is your birthday?" "February 10th. The little girl offered this information cheerfully. Georgina did the math. February. 9 months after the divorce was finalized. She looked at each small face again. The eyes, the jawline, the way they stood. Everything familiar, everything impossible. She looked up at Ramona. "What are their names?" Ramona met her gaze steadily. "This is Cora." She gestured to the little girl. "This is Bennett, the serious boy. And this is Beckett, the smiley one." Cora, Bennett, and Beckett. Georgina repeated each name like she was memorizing scripture. The boy who'd asked about Daddy, Bennett, tugged on Ramona's hand. "Mommy." "Who is this lady?" Georgina made a sound, half sob, half gasp. She pressed her hand to her mouth. The silence in the ballroom was complete now. Even the DJ had stopped the music. He stood frozen in the corner, headphones around his neck, not knowing what to do. Georgina knelt down. She didn't care about her expensive emerald gown spreading on the floor. Didn't care about 300 people watching. She needed to look at these children at eye level. She studied each face. Cora's dimples, Bennett's serious expression, Beckett's bright smile. They were beautiful children, and they looked exactly like her son looked at that age. The photos she had at home. Dexter at 5 years old, same eyes. Same face, same everything, are they? Georgina looked up at Ramona. Her voice broke. Are they his? Ramona's calm face didn't change. Yes. The ballroom erupted. Gasps, exclamations, whispers exploding into conversations. Phones appeared everywhere. People typing frantically, taking photos. This was going to be everywhere. Social media, news sites, business press, billionaire CEO Dexter Ashcroft, secret children. 5 years of lies exposed. Paige's voice cut through the noise. Shrill, panicked, desperate. You told me she was infertile. Every head in the ballroom swiveled toward her. Toward Dexter. Paige was staring at him with pure betrayal written across her face. You said she couldn't have children. You said that's why you divorced her. Dexter's mouth opened. No sound came out. Answer me. Paige's voice rose higher. She didn't care that 300 people were watching. Were you lying? Did you lie to me? The silence waited. Everyone waited. Georgina stood up slowly from the floor. Her knees protested. She was 59 years old and kneeling on hard marble hurt. But the pain in her knees was nothing compared to the pain in her chest. She turned around, looked across the ballroom at Dexter, her son, her firstborn, the boy she'd raised to be honest and honorable and good. Dexter. Her voice cut through 300 people like a blade. Come here, now. It wasn't a request. It was a command from a mother who just realized something terrible. Dexter's legs didn't want to move. His body had turned to stone, but his mother's voice compelled him. He walked, one foot in front of the other, the longest walk of his life. Every eye followed him. Business partners he'd made deals with, cousins he'd grown up with, friends he'd known for decades, strangers who'd come to celebrate his brother's wedding, all of them watching, all of them starting to understand. Paige stayed at the bar, arms wrapped around herself, tears streaming down her face, mascara running. Dexter reached his mother, stopped a few feet away from her, from Ramona, from the 3 children who had his eyes. Warren appeared beside Georgina. Dexter's father had been near the windows. He'd watched the whole thing unfold. His face was granite, hard and cold. Fletcher came up behind their parents, still in his tuxedo. This was his wedding day, the happiest day of his life. But his face showed only shock and dawning horror. Georgina looked at Dexter. She searched his face. Looking for the son she thought she knew. Tell me the truth. Her voice was shaking but firm. Right now, no more lies. Did you know Ramona was pregnant when you divorced her? The lie was right there. Available. Easy. Dexter had told lies for 5 years. One more wouldn't be hard. I had no idea. I would have stayed if I'd known. She never told me. The words were right there in his mouth, ready to deploy. But something broke inside him. Some wall he'd built. Some armor he'd worn. Maybe it was seeing his mother's face. Maybe it was seeing 3 children with his eyes. Maybe it was 5 years of lies catching up all at once. Yes. The word came out, barely a whisper. What? Georgina leaned forward. What did you say? Yes. Dexter's voice was louder now. Clearer. I knew. The ballroom exploded. Louder this time. Shouts, curses, gasps of horror. Someone near the back yelled, Are you kidding me? Another voice. He knew. He abandoned his pregnant wife. Paige let out a sound like a wounded animal. She ripped the 5-carat engagement ring off her finger. The diamond caught the light from the chandeliers. You're a monster. Her voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. A monster. She threw the ring at Dexter's chest. It bounced off his Tom Ford tuxedo, fell to the marble floor with a small clink that somehow everyone heard. The ring skittered across the floor, stopped near someone's foot. The diamond sparkled. I wasted 2 years on you. Paige was crying hard now. Her perfect makeup ruined. 2 years with a liar. She grabbed her clutch purse from the bar, ran toward the ballroom doors, her champagne gown flowing behind her, her heels clicking rapidly. Dexter. She stopped at the doors, turned back. I hope it was worth it. I hope your company kept you warm at night. The doors slammed behind her. The sound echoed through the silent ballroom. Dexter took one step toward the doors, like he might follow her, then stopped. He knew it was over. Paige was gone. She'd never come back. And he deserved it. Georgina's hand moved so fast Dexter didn't see it coming. The slap echoed through the ballroom like a gunshot. His head snapped to the side. His cheek exploded in pain. He touched his face, looked at his mother. Georgina had never hit him. Not once in 36 years. Not when he was a child throwing tantrums. Not when he was a teenager breaking rules. Never. Her hand was still raised. Her face was twisted with rage and heartbreak and betrayal all mixed together. How could you? Her voice shook with emotion. How could you do this? How could you abandon your own children? Mom, please, don't. Georgina held up her hand. Don't call me that right now. Don't you dare. Tears were streaming down her face, her carefully applied makeup running, her composure completely shattered. Those children. She gestured to Cora, Bennett, and Beckett. Those 3 beautiful children. They're yours. They have your face, your eyes, your smile. And you left them. You left them before they were even born. I was scared. So, you ran? Warren's voice was cold, hard. Your wife tells you she's pregnant and you run? I felt trapped. Dexter's voice got desperate. Words tumbling out. I was 29 years old. I wasn't ready. Ramona told me she was pregnant, and I panicked. I just panicked. So you left her? Georgina's voice rose. Your wife, the woman you promised to love and cherish. You left her? I felt like my whole life was over. Dexter was talking faster now, trying to explain, trying to make them understand. I had plans. The Singapore expansion, the acquisitions. I wanted to focus on my career. I wanted to travel. A baby would have ruined everything. So you filed for divorce. Warren's voice was flat, factual. 1 week after she told you. You filed for divorce and moved out. I didn't know what else to do. You made up a lie. Georgina shook her head, tears still falling. You told everyone Ramona was infertile. You made yourself the victim. You made people feel sorry for you. Dexter looked at the floor. I know it was wrong. Wrong? Fletcher spoke for the first time. His voice was thick with disgust. Wrong doesn't begin to cover it. Dexter looked at his younger brother. Fletcher was staring at him like he was a stranger, like he didn't recognize him. You lied to everyone. Fletcher stepped forward. To Mom, to Dad, to me, to your friends, to your fiancé. For 5 years you lied. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. How did you think it would go? Fletcher's voice rose. You thought you could just pretend your children didn't exist. I just wanted to move on with my life. Dexter's voice cracked. I wanted to forget. I wanted to be free. What about Ramona? A new voice. Sutton, still in her wedding dress. Still supposed to be celebrating. What about her life? She stepped forward, stood next to Ramona and the children. She was pregnant with triplets. Sutton's voice was cold. 3 babies. And you left her alone. I thought she'd be fine. Dexter said weakly. Her family would help her. She'd figure it out. She was your wife. Fletcher's voice got louder. They're your children. It was your responsibility. I know that now. You knew it then. Fletcher moved closer. His face was red. His hands were in fists. You knew it 4 years ago. You just didn't care. You wanted your freedom more than you wanted your family. Dexter had no answer to that, because it was true. 5 years ago, he chose himself. He chose his penthouse and his BMW and his trips to Singapore. He chose board meetings and acquisitions and stock prices. He chose everything except his wife and children. Fletcher. Ramona's voice was quiet, but it carried. It's okay. Fletcher turned to look at her. It's not okay. He abandoned you. He abandoned 3 children. I know. Ramona's face was still calm, still composed. But I don't need you to fight for me. I just needed your family to know the truth. Now they do." She looked at Dexter, really looked at him. The man she'd married, the man who'd left her. When Ramona spoke, her voice was cold and empty. "You had 5 years to tell the truth. 5 years to be honest. 5 years to be a father. You chose to lie instead. You chose yourself." "Ramona," Dexter's voice broke. "Can we talk? Please. Just for a minute. Let me explain." Ramona held up her hand. "No, you had 5 years to explain. I tried to tell you about the babies. I called you. I came to your office. I sent you a letter. You blocked me, ignored me, sent my letter back unopened. I was wrong. Yes, you were." Ramona's calm cracked, just slightly. Fire flashed in her eyes. "You were wrong. And these children paid the price. They grew up without a father because you were too much of a coward to face your responsibilities." "Ramona." Dexter tried again. "These children don't know you." Ramona's voice was firm now. "Final. They don't need you. We're fine without you. We've been fine for 5 years. We'll continue to be fine." She took Cora's hand. Bennett's hand. Beckett stood close to her. Dexter looked at them. His children, 5 years old. He'd missed everything. Their births, their first steps, first words, first days of school, birthday parties, Christmas mornings, everything. They were strangers to him, and he was a stranger to them. Warren stepped very close to Dexter. He was shorter than his son, but somehow seemed bigger, more solid, more real. His voice was quiet, but everyone heard it. "You are not my son." The words hit Dexter like a physical blow. "Dad, please don't say that. My son would never do this." Warren's voice was cold, controlled. "I raised you to be honest. I raised you to be responsible. I raised you to take care of your family. But you're not that man. You're not the son I raised. I made a mistake." Dexter's voice was desperate. "People make mistakes. This isn't a mistake." Warren's eyes were hard. "A mistake is forgetting an appointment. A mistake is saying the wrong thing. This is not a mistake. This is a choice. You chose to abandon your pregnant wife. You chose to lie for 5 years. You chose yourself over 3 innocent children." Warren turned his back. Deliberate, unmistakable. He walked away toward the windows. He didn't look back. Dexter tried to follow. "Dad, please. Let me explain." Fletcher stepped in front of him, blocked his path. "You need to leave. This is your wedding." "I know." Fletcher's jaw was tight. His eyes were hard. "I'm sorry this happened today, but you need to leave. You're not welcome here anymore." "Fletcher, you heard Dad. You're not his son." Fletcher's voice dropped. "And right now, you're not my brother either." The words cut deep. Dexter and Fletcher had always been close. Despite their differences, despite choosing different paths, they were brothers. But not anymore. Not after this. Dexter looked around the ballroom. 300 faces, all looking at him with disgust, anger, betrayal, shock. His mother was crying. His father had his back turned. His brother wanted him gone. Ramona stood with 3 children who should have been his family, but weren't, because he'd thrown them away. Dexter had nothing left to say. No defense, no excuse, no explanation that would make any of this better. He turned toward the ballroom doors, started walking. The crowd parted. People stepped back, making room, not wanting to touch him, not wanting to be associated with him. He passed tables decorated with white roses, past the dance floor where people had been celebrating an hour ago, past the DJ who stood frozen, still not sure what to do. Nobody tried to stop him. Nobody said goodbye. Nobody said anything. He reached the doors, pushed them open, stepped into the hallway. The doors closed behind him with a soft click. The hallway was quiet. Dexter could hear muffled voices from inside the ballroom, life continuing without him. He walked through the hotel lobby. The man at the front desk glanced at him. Dexter kept walking. Outside, the June evening was warm. The sun was setting. Manhattan was beautiful in the golden hour light. Dexter walked to the parking garage across the street, found his car, a black BMW, expensive, powerful, empty. He got in, sat in the driver's seat, didn't start the engine. His hands rested on the steering wheel. He stared at the concrete wall in front of him. Inside the ballroom, his family was meeting his children. His mother was probably asking them questions. His father was probably reading to one of them. His brother was probably being kind. They were building a family. Without him, Dexter had everything he thought he wanted 5 years ago. The company, the money, the success, the freedom, and he had nothing that mattered. He sat in his car in the parking garage, alone, while 300 people celebrated without him, while his children met their grandparents for the first time, while his entire life fell apart. This was the consequence. This was the price of his choices, and there was no way to undo it. No way to go back. No way to fix what he'd broken. Dexter Ashcroft, billionaire CEO, sat in his car and realized he'd lost everything that mattered, and it was entirely his own fault. Inside the ballroom, the silence hung heavy for a long moment after Dexter left. 300 people stood frozen, unsure what to do, unsure what came next. Then Rebecca, Fletcher's new wife, took a breath, straightened her shoulders, walked across the dance floor to where Ramona stood with the children. She took Ramona's hand, squeezed it. Then she turned to face the crowd of wedding guests. Her voice was clear, strong. "Everyone, I want you to meet someone very important to me. This is Ramona Rivera. She's my best friend. We were roommates in college. We've been close for 10 years. She's one of the most important people in my life." The guests listened. Some sat down at tables. Others stood watching. Rebecca continued, "And these are her beautiful children, Cora, Bennett, and Beckett. They're 5 years old. They're smart and kind and wonderful. And they belong here. They belong at my wedding because Ramona is my family." She paused, looked around the ballroom. Her wedding day had just been destroyed by scandal, but her voice didn't waver. "Anyone who has a problem with that can leave right now." Silence. Nobody moved. Then someone started clapping. One of Rebecca's cousins near the back. Then someone else. Then more people. Soon, the entire ballroom was applauding. People stood up. Some smiled at Ramona. Some waved at the children. Fletcher walked to his new wife, put his arm around her, looked at Ramona and the children. "You're absolutely welcome here." His voice was firm. "All of you." Georgina wiped her eyes. Her makeup was ruined, but she didn't care. She walked to Ramona, stood in front of her. "I'm so sorry." Georgina's voice shook. "I'm so sorry I wasn't there. I'm so sorry I didn't know. Can you forgive me?" Ramona's calm face softened slightly. "You didn't know. It's not your fault. But I should have known. I should have tried to contact you after the divorce. I should have checked on you. Instead, I believed Marcus's lies. I'm so sorry." "It's okay," Ramona said quietly. "Really?" Georgina looked down at the 3 children. Her voice was tentative, hopeful. "Can I talk to them? Can I get to know them?" Ramona hesitated. Georgina saw it, understood it completely. Why would Ramona trust Dexter's family? They'd done nothing to help her. They didn't even know the children existed. But then Ramona nodded slowly. "Okay, you can talk to them." Georgina knelt down again. Her knees protested, but she ignored the pain. She smiled at the children. "Hi. My name is Georgina. I'm Dexter's mother." The children looked confused. Cora tilted her head. "Who's Dexter?" she asked. Georgina's face crumpled. The question said everything. Her grandchildren didn't even know their father's name. Ramona answered her daughter. "Dexter is someone we used to know, baby." Georgina's eyes filled with fresh tears, but she tried to smile through them. "What are your names? I want to know everything about you." The little girl spoke first. She was braver than her brothers. "I'm Cora." "Cora." Georgina smiled. "That's a beautiful name. How old are you, Cora?" 5. Cora held up 5 fingers. 5 years old. "That's wonderful. What do you like to do?" "I like to draw. I draw pictures of flowers and houses and people." "That sounds beautiful. What do you draw with?" "Crayons, mostly, and markers, sometimes colored pencils." Georgina looked at Bennett. The serious boy. "What about you, sweetheart?" Bennett spoke quietly, shyly. "I'm Bennett. I like books." "What kind of books?" "Books about animals. And space. And dinosaurs. Those are the best kinds of books. Georgina's smile was genuine now. Do you have a favorite animal? Wolves. And eagles. Those are both very strong animals. Georgina looked at Beckett, the smiley one. And you must be Beckett. Yes, Beckett grinned. I like trucks. What kind of trucks? Fire trucks. And garbage trucks. And monster trucks. Beckett made a engine sound. Vroom. Georgina laughed through her tears. That's a very good truck sound. Warren approached slowly. He'd been standing by the windows, turned away from everything. But now he came back. He stood behind Georgina, looked down at the 3 children, his grandchildren. He didn't know what to say. He'd spent 30 years as a federal judge, dealing with criminals and liars and terrible people. But this was different. This was his own family, his own son's children, Thomas. Georgina looked up at her husband. These are our grandchildren. Warren nodded. He couldn't speak yet. His throat was too tight. He noticed Bennett was holding a small book. Someone must have given it to him earlier. Warren cleared his throat. Is that a good book? Bennett looked up at him, nodded shyly. What's it about? Animals. It has bears and wolves and eagles. Can I see it? Bennett held out the book carefully. Warren took it, opened it to the first page. Would you like me to read it to you? Bennett looked at his mother. Ramona nodded. It's okay, baby. He's safe. Bennett looked back at Warren. Okay. There were chairs near the wall. Warren walked to them. Bennett followed. They sat down next to each other. Warren opened the book, started reading in a quiet voice. Bennett listened carefully. His serious little face focused on the pictures. Georgina watched them. Her husband and her grandson, meeting for the first time. 5 years late, but meeting. She pulled out her phone. Her hands were shaking. May I take some pictures? I want to remember today. The children looked at their mother. Ramona nodded. Cora and Beckett smiled at Georgina. She took photo after photo. The children together, each child individually. The children with Ramona. Warren reading to Bennett. Dozens of photos. She needed these photos. She needed proof this was real. That her grandchildren existed. That she'd met them. Fletcher came over, knelt down next to Georgina, looked at Cora and Beckett. Hi, I'm Fletcher. I'm Dexter's brother, which makes me your uncle. Hi, Cora said politely. I'm sorry about what happened tonight. Fletcher's voice was gentle. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's okay. Cora looked at him with those big dark eyes. Dexter's eyes. Are you the one who got married? Yes. That's me. Your wife is pretty. Fletcher smiled. Thank you. Her name is Rebecca. She's your mom's best friend. I know. We've met her before. She comes to our apartment sometimes. Fletcher glanced at Ramona. You've been in touch with Rebecca? Ramona nodded. We stayed friends after the divorce. She's been very supportive. Fletcher looked at his new wife. Rebecca was talking to some guests, probably doing damage control, probably explaining what just happened. He stood up, walked to Rebecca. When he reached her, he pulled her aside. You knew. His voice was quiet. About the children. Rebecca met his eyes steadily. Yes, I knew. For how long? Since they were born. Ramona told me everything. About Dexter leaving. About him blocking her. About the pregnancy. And you didn't tell me? She asked me not to. It was her story to tell, not mine. Fletcher processed this. I understand. But why invite her tonight? Why bring her to our wedding? Because I thought your family deserved to know the truth. Rebecca's voice was firm. And because Dexter needed to face what he'd done. He's been lying for 5 years. Someone needed to stop him. So you orchestrated this. I invited my best friend to my wedding. What happened after that was on Dexter, not me. Fletcher pulled his wife into a hug. I love you. I love you too. Rebecca pulled back. Are you angry? No. Fletcher shook his head. You did the right thing. It was painful, but it was right. The DJ finally started playing music again. Soft background music. People began moving around, talking. The energy shifted. It was still strange, still tense. But life was moving forward. Georgina sat on the floor with Cora and Beckett. Her expensive gown spread around her. She didn't care. "Do you go to school?" she asked. "Preschool," Cora said. "Miss Jennifer is our teacher. Do you like school?" "Yes. We have a playground. And we read stories. And we have snack time." "What's your favorite snack?" "Goldfish crackers," Beckett chimed in. "The cheese ones." Georgina smiled. "Those are very good. What do you want to be when you grow up?" Cora's face became serious. "A doctor, like Mommy. Mommy helps people at the hospital. I want to help people too." Georgina looked at Ramona. "You're a nurse?" "Yes, at Grady Memorial. Night shifts mostly. That must be hard, with 3 children. My mother watches them when I work nights, and my sister helps on weekends." Georgina felt a wave of emotion crash over her. Ramona's mother, the children's other grandmother. She'd been there from the beginning. She'd helped with 3 babies. She'd been present. Georgina had missed everything. "Your mother must be wonderful." Georgina's voice was thick. "She is," Ramona said simply. "I would like to meet her someday, if that's okay." Ramona didn't answer, just gave a small nod that could have meant anything. Bennett came back from reading with Warren. He'd finished the book. He walked over to his siblings. "Mommy, I'm hungry." His quiet voice was tired. "I know, baby." Ramona checked her watch. "We should probably go. It's getting late." Georgina stood up quickly. Panic flashed across her face. "You're leaving?" "The children are tired. They've been here for hours. They need dinner and bed." Of course. Georgina tried to hide her desperation. "Will I see you again? Please tell me I'll see you again." Ramona looked at this woman, Dexter's mother. She seemed genuine. She seemed to really love the children already. But Ramona had been burned before. Trusting the Ashcroft family had led to abandonment and lies. "Call me next week," Ramona said carefully. "We can talk." Georgina's face lit up. Really? Georgina pulled out her phone with shaking hands. "What's your number?" Ramona recited it. Georgina typed it in immediately. "Saved it. I'll call you," Georgina promised. "I'll call you, and we can arrange something. Maybe the children could visit, if you're comfortable with that. We'll see." Ramona's voice was non-committal. Warren came over. He'd been watching from a distance. He looked at the 3 children. "It was very nice to meet you. All 3 of you." Bennett looked up at him. "Will you read to me again?" Warren's eyes got wet. He blinked rapidly. "Yes, I would love to read to you again." "When?" Warren looked at Ramona. "When your mother says it's okay." Ramona nodded. "Soon." Fletcher and Rebecca came over to say goodbye. Fletcher knelt down in front of the children. "Thank you for coming to my wedding, even though it got a little crazy." "Your wedding was pretty," Cora said. "Thank you, sweetheart." Fletcher smiled. "I hope I get to see you again soon." Ramona took Cora's and Bennett's hands. Beckett walked beside her. They moved toward the ballroom doors. Georgina and Warren walked with them. So did Fletcher and Rebecca. They didn't want to say goodbye yet. Didn't want the children to leave. They rode the elevator down together. Walked through the lobby. Outside to the parking lot. Ramona's car was an old Honda, parked under a streetlight. The paint was faded. The bumper had a dent. Ramona unlocked the doors. Opened the back door. There were 3 car seats installed. She buckled Cora into one seat. Then Bennett. Then Beckett. Checked each buckle carefully. Made sure each child was secure. Georgina watched every movement, memorizing how Ramona did this, how she cared for them, how gentle she was. "Drive safely," Georgina said. Her voice was thick with emotion. "I will. Call me, please, anytime, day or night. I'll call you next week." Ramona got into the driver's seat. The old Honda started with a rough sound. The engine needed work. Georgina and Warren stood in the parking lot, watched the car drive away. The taillights got smaller, then disappeared around a corner. Georgina started crying again. Thomas put his arm around her. "It's okay. We know they exist now. We can be part of their lives. We missed everything." Georgina's voice broke. Their births, their first steps, their first words. 4 birthdays, 4 Christmases, everything. "I know." Warren's voice was sad. "But we can't get that time back. All we can do is be there from now on. They walked back inside, back up to the ballroom. The wedding reception was still happening. People were dancing, drinking, talking, but the energy had changed. Everyone knew what happened. Everyone had witnessed the scandal. Georgina and Warren sat down at a table, exhausted, emotionally drained. Fletcher came over, sat with them. "Are you okay, Mom?" Georgina shook her head. "No, I'm not okay, but I will be. Once I get to know those children. Once I can be their grandmother." "What about Dexter?" Warren asked quietly. Fletcher's face hardened. "What about him? He's still your son." Warren looked at his wife. "Still your brother. Right now, I don't want to think about him," Georgina said. "Right now, I just want to focus on those 3 beautiful children. My grandchildren. The grandchildren he kept from me for 5 years. Do you think you'll forgive him?" Fletcher asked. Georgina was quiet for a long time. "I don't know. Maybe someday. But not today. Today I'm too angry. Too hurt." Warren nodded. He felt the same way. His son had lied to them, had abandoned his own children, had built his entire life on deception. How do you forgive that? Meanwhile, Dexter sat in his BMW in the parking garage. He'd been sitting there for over an hour. He watched through the garage windows, saw his parents walk out with Ramona and the children, saw them say goodbye, saw the old Honda drive away, his children, leaving, and he couldn't go to them. His phone started buzzing, text messages flooding in, from Paige's friends, from business associates, from people who'd been at the wedding. He opened social media. The story was everywhere already. Someone had posted about it, then someone else, then someone else. The comments were brutal. Billionaire CEO Dexter Ashcroft exposed for abandoning his pregnant wife and lying about it. He told everyone she was infertile. She showed up to his brother's wedding with triplets. What kind of monster does this? Hope his company crashes. Those poor children. By Monday morning, everyone would know. The business press, his board of directors, shareholders, clients, everyone. His reputation was destroyed. The reputation he'd built over 5 years. The image of the successful, eligible, trustworthy CEO. Gone. In one night. One exposure. One truth. Dexter started his car, drove home to his penthouse in Midtown. The apartment was dark, empty, exactly how he'd left it that morning. He walked to the windows, looked out at Manhattan, the city that had been his kingdom. His phone rang. His publicist. He didn't answer. It rang again. His assistant. He didn't answer. Again. A board member. He turned off his phone. Dexter stood at the window until sunrise, watching the city wake up, watching his empire crumble. This is what consequences looked like. The weeks that followed were brutal. Dexter went to work Monday morning, walked into Ashcroft Industries like nothing had happened, but everything had happened. His CO workers treated him differently, polite but cold, professional but distant. They didn't invite him to lunch, didn't stop by his office to chat, avoided him. The board of directors called an emergency meeting. They sat around the conference table, 12 people who'd trusted Dexter to lead the company. "Mr. Ashcroft," the chairman's voice was careful, "we need to discuss the situation from this weekend. There's nothing to discuss." Dexter kept his voice level. "It's a personal matter." It became a public matter when it happened at a society wedding with 300 witnesses. The chairman leaned forward. "It's all over social media. The business press is calling. Shareholders are nervous. The company is fine. Our numbers are strong. This isn't about numbers. It's about trust. You lied to everyone. About your marriage. About your children. How can we trust you to lead this company? I've always been honest about business. Have you?" The chairman looked around the table. "Because right now, we're wondering what else you might be lying about." The meeting lasted 2 hours. They didn't fire him, but they strongly suggested he take a leave of absence. For the good of the company, they said. Dexter refused. "This is my company. My grandfather built it. I'm not walking away. Then we'll have to consider other options." Dexter left the meeting, went back to his office, stared at the city below. At home, things were worse. Paige had posted on Instagram a long caption about betrayal and lies and moving on. She didn't name Dexter, but everyone knew. Her followers left thousands of comments, supporting her, condemning him. Dexter's own social media was flooded. Hate messages, angry comments, people calling him a monster, a coward, a deadbeat father. He stopped checking. His mother didn't call. His father had blocked his number. Fletcher sent one text message. "Leave Ramona and the kids alone. You're not welcome." Dexter sat in his penthouse alone. The luxury apartment felt like a prison. He tried calling his mother. It went to voicemail. "Mom, it's me. Please call me back. I need to talk to you." She didn't call back. He tried again a week later. "Mom, please. I know you're angry, but please talk to me." Nothing. After 3 weeks, he stopped trying. The only thing he had left was work, but even that was crumbling. The board met again. This time they didn't suggest. They demanded, "Mr. Ashcroft, you need to step down as CEO. Effective immediately. No, this isn't a negotiation. Your presence is damaging the company. Stock prices are down. Clients are nervous. You need to step away. This is my company, and we're trying to save it." The chairman's voice was firm. "Step down voluntarily, or we'll force you out." Dexter looked around the table. 12 faces, all of them decided, united against him. He'd lost. Fine. Dexter stood up. "I'll step down, but I'm still the majority shareholder. For now," the chairman said quietly. Dexter walked out of the conference room, out of the building, out of the company he'd sacrificed everything for. 3 months after the wedding, Dexter had lost everything. His fiancée, his family, his company, his reputation. He sat in his penthouse drinking whiskey and staring at his mother's Instagram. She posted photos of the children every weekend, photos at her house, baking cookies, playing in the yard, reading books. The captions were always loving. "My beautiful grandchildren. Best day ever. Love these kids so much." Dexter scrolled through months of photos, watching his children grow up through social media, like a stranger, like someone who didn't matter. Because he didn't matter. Not to them. One Friday night, 6 months after the wedding, Dexter sat in a bar, alone, drinking. A man sat down next to him, mid-60s, kind eyes. "Rough night?" the man asked. "Rough life," Dexter muttered. The man smiled. "I'm Dr. Patterson. I couldn't help overhearing you've been here 3 Fridays in a row, sitting alone, drinking whiskey." Dexter looked at him. "Are you following me? I'm a therapist. My office is upstairs. I come down here sometimes after late sessions, and I notice patterns. Good for you. You look like someone who needs to talk." "I'm fine." "No, you're not." Dr. Patterson's voice was gentle but firm. "You're clearly not fine." Dexter drank his whiskey. Didn't respond. Dr. Patterson handed him a card. "My office. If you ever want to talk. First session is free." He left. Dexter looked at the card. Dr. Margaret Patterson, licensed therapist. He put it in his pocket. 2 weeks later, Dexter stood outside Dr. Patterson's office. He'd hit rock bottom, lost everything, had nowhere else to turn. He walked in. Dr. Patterson's office was small, comfortable. She sat in a chair, gestured to the couch. "Have a seat." Dexter sat. "Tell me why you're here." Dexter tried to lie. Started to say something about stress, about work. Dr. Patterson held up her hand. "Stop. If you're going to lie to me, leave. I don't waste time with people who aren't ready to be honest." Dexter stopped, looked at her. "Why are you really here?" she asked. "Because I destroyed my life." Dexter's voice cracked. "Because I lost everything that mattered. Because I don't know how to fix it." "Good. That's honest." Dr. Patterson picked up a notebook. "Now we can begin." For the next hour, Dexter told the truth. All of it. About Ramona, about the pregnancy, about abandoning his children, about 5 years of lies. Dr. Patterson listened without judgment. When he finished, she was quiet for a moment. That took courage to say out loud. It doesn't feel like courage. Honesty never does. Dr. Patterson leaned forward. "Here's what I'm going to tell you. You did something terrible. You know that. Everyone knows that. You can spend the rest of your life drowning in guilt, or you can do something about it. Like what? Like being honest. Like asking for forgiveness without expecting it. like showing up consistently, even when it's hard. They won't forgive me. Maybe not, but at least you'll know you tried. Dexter started seeing Dr. Patterson twice a week. For months, unpacking everything, learning to be honest, learning to face what he'd done. 8 months after the wedding, Dexter made a decision. He called his lawyers, told them to sell Ashcroft Industries. Are you sure? His lawyer was shocked. That company is your legacy. I know, but it's also what I chose over my family, and it didn't make me happy. So sell it. The sale took 3 months. Dexter sold Ashcroft Industries for $3.2 billion. He kept 10% for himself, $320 million. The rest he put in trust funds, $1 billion for each child. Cora, Bennett, Beckett, they'd receive it when they turned 25. He also set up a foundation, in Ramona's name, for community architecture projects, another $1 billion to fund buildings like the library she designed. His lawyers processed everything, drew up the documents, made it legal. Why are you doing this? One lawyer asked. Because I can't undo what I did. Dexter said, but I can make sure they're taken care of. I can make sure Ramona's work continues. I can try to be better. 1 year after the wedding, Dexter was driving back from Queens. He'd been visiting the library Ramona designed. He went there sometimes, just to see what she'd built. It was raining. The roads were slick. A truck ran a red light, hit Dexter's car on the driver's side. The impact was massive. Metal crunching, glass shattering, the car spinning. Everything went black. Dexter woke up in a hospital room. His head pounded. His ribs screamed with pain. His left arm was in a cast. A doctor stood over him. Mr. Ashcroft, you're awake. You were in an accident. You have broken ribs, a concussion, and a fractured arm. But you're going to be okay. Dexter tried to sit up. Pain shot through his chest. Don't move. The doctor pressed him back down. You need to rest. We've called your emergency contact. Your mother is on her way. My mother? She's listed as your emergency contact. 30 minutes later, his hospital room door opened. Georgina walked in, followed by Warren, then Fletcher. Dexter stared at them. He hadn't seen them in a year, hadn't spoken to them since the wedding. Mom, his voice cracked. Georgina came to the bedside. Her face was a mix of anger and worry and something that might have been love. What happened? Her voice was tight. Car accident. Truck ran a red light. Are you okay? I will be. They stood in awkward silence. A year of no contact sitting between them like a wall. I've been going to therapy, Dexter said suddenly. Twice a week for 8 months. Georgina said nothing. And I sold the company. All of it. Put the money in trust funds for the kids. And set up a foundation for Ramona. Warren's eyes widened. You sold Ashcroft Industries? Yes, for $3.2 billion. Each kid gets $1 billion when they turn 25. And there's $1 billion foundation for Ramona's architecture work. Fletcher stared at his brother. You gave away your entire fortune. I gave them what should have been theirs from the beginning. Dexter's voice was quiet. I can't get back the time. I can't undo the abandonment. But I can do this. Why? Georgina asked. Because when that truck hit my car, all I could think about was dying without meeting my children. Without them knowing I was sorry. Without them knowing I was trying to be better. Are you? Fletcher's voice was hard. Trying to be better? Yes, every day. Dexter looked at his brother. I'm in therapy. I'm learning to be honest. I sold the thing I cared about more than my family. I'm trying. Georgina sat down in the chair next to the bed. She didn't take his hand. But she sat. Being sorry isn't enough. Her voice was firm. You have to prove it. With actions. With time. With consistency. I will. I promise. And the children. Georgina's eyes filled with tears. They might never forgive you. They might never want to know you. You have to accept that. I know. But I'll talk to Ramona. I'll ask if you can write them letters. If you can explain in your own words what happened and why. Not excuses. Just truth. You would do that. Hope flickered in Dexter's eyes. For them. Not for you. They deserve to know their father tried to make amends, even if they choose not to accept them. Thank you. Dexter's voice broke. Thank you. The family sat in the hospital room, not healed, not forgiven, but present, connected by blood and complicated by history. It was a start. 3 weeks later, Dexter sat in his new apartment, much smaller than the penthouse, simpler. He'd downsized everything. In front of him was a stack of blank paper, a pen. He was writing letters, one to each child. Dear Cora, you don't know me, but I'm your father. I know that might not mean anything to you, and I understand why. I wasn't there when you were born. I wasn't there for your first birthday, or your second, or any of them. I missed everything. I want to explain why, even though there's no good explanation. When your mother told me she was pregnant, I was scared. I know that's not an excuse. Adults shouldn't run away because they're scared. But I did. I chose my company, my lifestyle, my comfort over you and your brothers and your mother. I told myself I wasn't ready to be a father. The truth is, I was selfish. He wrote for hours, being completely honest, about the divorce, about blocking Ramona, about the lies he told, about the regret he carried. He wrote similar letters to Bennett and Beckett, personalized for each child, but all saying the same thing. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better. He ended each letter the same way. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect anything from you. But I want you to know that giving you up was the worst mistake of my life. And if you ever want to meet me, talk to me, yell at me, I'll be here, whenever you're ready. If you're ever ready. Your father, Dexter. He sealed the letters, gave them to his mother. She promised to give them to Ramona, who would decide if and when the children received them. 6 months passed. Dexter didn't know if the children got the letters, didn't know if they read them, didn't know anything. He kept going to therapy, kept working on himself, got a job as a consultant for small businesses, nothing like running a billion-dollar company, but honest work, meaningful work. Meanwhile, his mother posted photos every weekend. The children at her house, playing, baking, reading, growing. Dexter watched from a distance. Like always, 2 years after the wedding, Ramona sat on her couch. The children were asleep. The apartment was quiet. She held 3 letters. Dexter's letters. Georgina had given them to her 6 months ago. Ramona had read them multiple times. They were good letters. Honest, painful, raw. No excuses, just truth. But were they enough? The children were now 7 years old. Cora was asking more questions about her father. Bennett had found Dexter's picture online. An old Forbes article. He'd asked why their dad wasn't in their lives. Ramona had told them the truth. Your father wasn't ready when you were born. He made bad choices. He left us. But he's trying to be better now, Cora had said. Grandma Georgina told me. Yes, he's trying. Does that mean he can meet us? Ramona hadn't answered yet. She looked at the letters again, at the trust fund documents, at the foundation bearing her name, already funding 3 community projects. He was trying. That was clear. Her phone buzzed. Text from Georgina. Photos of the children planting tomatoes in the garden. They were happy, loved, surrounded by family, grandparents who adored them, uncle and aunt who showed up. Did they need Dexter? No. But did he deserve a chance? Ramona didn't know. It wasn't just her decision. The children would have a say. When they were ready, she put the letters in a safe place, turned off the lights, checked on her sleeping children. Whatever happened with Dexter, her children would be okay, because they were loved. 1 year later, Cora was 8 years old. It was a Tuesday after school. She was doing homework at the kitchen table. Mom? Her voice was careful. Ramona was making dinner. Yeah, sweetie? I've been thinking about the letters, the ones from my dad. Ramona had given them the letters 6 months ago. All 3 children read them. Bennett cried. Beckett got angry. Cora went quiet. What about them? Ramona asked. I think I want to meet him. Just once. Just to see. Ramona's hands stilled. Are you sure? I think so. He's been writing to us for 2 years. He's never asked for anything. He just says he's sorry and that he's trying to be better. Cora looked at her mother. I want to see if that's true. What do Bennett and Beckett think? Bennett said he'll do it if I do it. Beckett said no. He's still mad. That's okay. Beckett can take more time. Ramona sat down at the table, took her daughter's hand. If we do this, it's on your terms. public place. I'll be there the whole time. If you want to leave, we leave. Okay? Okay. 2 weeks later, they met at Central Park, on a bench near the lake. Public, safe, neutral. Dexter arrived early, sat on the bench, nervous, terrified, hopeful. He saw them walking toward him. Ramona with 3 children, not babies anymore, 8 years old, growing up. Cora pulled her mother forward. Bennett followed close. Beckett trailed behind, hands in pockets. They reached the bench. Dexter stood up. His hands were shaking. "Hi." His voice was rough. Cora studied him. "You look like us. You look like me," Dexter said gently. "You were here first." A small smile from Cora. "Thank you for agreeing to meet me." Dexter looked at Ramona. "Thank you for allowing this." Ramona nodded. Watchful, protective. "I don't know what to say," Dexter admitted. "I've imagined this for years, and now I don't know what to say." "You could start with sorry," Beckett called from 10 feet away. His voice was hard. "I am sorry." Dexter looked at him. "I'm sorrier than you can understand. I made terrible choices. I hurt you and your mother. I can't undo that. I wish I could. So why should we care now?" Beckett challenged. "You shouldn't. I don't expect you to. I just wanted to tell you in person that you didn't do anything wrong. I was the problem, and I'm trying to be better." Cora sat on the bench next to Dexter. Not close, but close enough. "Are you better?" "I'm trying. I'm in therapy. I'm learning to be honest. I'm learning that money doesn't matter if you don't have people to share it with." "Do you want to share it with us now?" Bennett asked quietly. "I want whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to meet sometimes, I'd love that. If you want to email, I'd love that. If you want nothing to do with me, I'll respect that." They talked for an hour. Awkward, emotional, real. Beckett never came closer. Bennett asked questions. Cora asked about his life. Dexter answered everything honestly. When it was time to go, Cora stood, looked at Dexter, held out her hand. Dexter shook it. Her hand was small and warm. "Maybe we can do this again sometime. If Mom says it's okay." Ramona looked at her daughter, then at Dexter. "We'll see. Not yes, but not no." They walked away. Dexter watched them go. His children, 8 years old, growing up without him, but strong, smart, loved. He'd missed so much, would never get it back. But maybe he could be part of what came next. Not as the father he should have been. He'd lost that right. But as someone trying, someone honest, someone better. It wasn't enough, would never be enough. But it was a start. If this story moved you, if it made you think about the choices you make every day, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me, what's the most important lesson you learned from Dexter and Ramona's story? Because here's the truth. We all make choices. Every single day. We choose work or family, success or integrity, comfort or growth, easy lies or hard truths. Dexter chose wrong. He chose money over love, empire over family, lies over truth, and he lost everything that mattered. But this story isn't just about consequences. It's also about agency. Ramona had agency. She chose to raise her children with dignity. She chose to build a life that mattered. She chose who got access to her family. The children had agency. Cora chose to meet her father. Beckett chose not to. Both choices were valid. Both were respected. And this story is about family. Real family shows up. Georgina and Warren could have stayed angry forever, but they chose to meet their grandchildren. They chose to be present. 5 years later, Cora is 13. She meets Dexter once a month for lunch. They're not close, but they're building something. She tells him about school, her dreams of being a doctor. He listens, shows up, tries. Bennett is 13 too. He emails Dexter about science and space. They're not ready for in-person meetings, but they're communicating. Beckett is 13. He still wants nothing to do with Dexter, and Dexter respects that. Sends a card every birthday. Waits. However long it takes. Ramona built her firm into one of the most respected architecture practices in New York. She designs buildings that serve communities. She's happy, successful, surrounded by people who showed up when it mattered. Georgina and Warren are active grandparents. Every weekend, every holiday, every important moment. They didn't miss another birthday. Fletcher and Rebecca have children of their own now. Cousins for Cora, Bennett, Beckett. Family that's real and present. And Dexter lives simply. Small apartment. Modest car. Works as a consultant. Gives most of his money away. His life looks nothing like it did 10 years ago. No empire, no billions, no magazine covers. But he's honest now. He tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. He shows up even when it's hard. He tries to be better every single day. Is he forgiven? Not by everyone, maybe not ever. But he's trying, and that's all any of us can do. This is a story about choices, about consequences, about truth, about family, about second chances that might never come but we try anyway. Every day you wake up, you get to choose. Choose wisely. Choose honestly. Choose love. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with this story. If it moved you, share it. If it challenged you, sit with that. If it changed you, let it. I'll see you in the next story. Until then, choose truth. Choose presence. Choose love. This is Dr. Phillips, signing off.